Before we talk about where we are, we must first remember from whence we came. Marty Schottenheimer brought winning football back to Kansas City and built what is now known as Chiefs Kingdom.
We transitioned from a team built on its defense in the 90s to one of the most dominant offenses and return men in NFL history, led by Dick Vermeil.
In 2012, a 2-14 Chiefs team displayed disastrous play on the field and turmoil off it. We asked to save our Chiefs, and in came Andy Reid, who immediately turned this franchise into a perennial playoff team.
Then, on April 27, 2017, the Chiefs broke free from their journeyman quarterback restraints and drafted Patrick "LeVon" Mahomes.
In 6 years with Patrick at the helm, we're back-to-back champs and a dynasty headed towards a three-peat. We are unrelenting for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the Allies. Arrowhead Allies.
Chiefs to big game. That's my quote. After the Chiefs made it to the big game, I said, Noah, Chiefs to big game. Simple, effective, and for the third straight year, the Kansas City Chiefs have accepted their invitation to the National Football League's World Championship game, which will take place February 9th on a Sunday at the Caesars Superdome, home of some of the great Super Bowls in NFL history. Guys, revel in it. We're all here. We sometimes have to look back and think about how surreal this is. Arrowhead Allies is on the air, and we are gathered for it. Like Dusty Rhodes said, you don't know hard times unless you know Lynn Elliott. Guys, you don't know hard times is when the Denver Broncos show up to Arrowhead wearing substances on their jersey and they send you home early. They kick you in the butt and they go win the Super Bowl. That's hard times, Daddy.
Who's man now, boys? Another Dusty Rhodes slogan. And the man is Arrowhead Allies via Starcade Media right here this evening. Your Kansas City Chiefs, led by Patrick "LeVon" Mahomes, are back for the ultimate goal three-peat in New Orleans. Are you with me? Let's go. The journey has just begun.
The big game. The big game, Noah.
The big game.
Yes.
We're not authorized the other thing.
Yeah, Pat Riley has that taken, so we can't say that. But this is the third Super Bowl in a row that the Chiefs will be in. 5 out of 6 years that they have been in the Super Bowl, the big game. No one has ever done that, and they're going for history with this three-peat. We take down the Bills. We vanquish them. Everyone said it was their year. Bills Mafia, they're all saying, boycott the Super Bowl. Teach them that there's no money in this thing. Everyone's going to boycott it that way. The refs stay out of it and give us our chance, us our due. And yes, I sort of feel for Josh Allen. He's a great guy. He's a great quarterback. But just like when Michael Jordan was patrolling those courts, Patrick Mahomes is even better than Michael Jordan. He's not letting anyone get in there ever in his entire career. Michael Jordan led a lot of guys early in his career, but once he started winning, no one was getting to the championship game. No one was winning, and that is what Patrick Mahomes is doing here.
You know what I'm getting sick of, guys, is all these comparisons. I know that that's what we do this in the sports world because it's what drives ratings. It's what drives conversation because it's easy to do. But you know what's not easy to do? Is to accept the fact there is no one like Patrick Mahomes in the history of sports. Because that's literally what we have on our hands right now. Now, I know it's easy for us to sit here and do this, and I'm going to sound like Shaggy. I know what you're saying now. Hold on, Shaggy. But I'm not going to do that because that's Shaggy's thing. What I'm going to say is it's how it is. And I'm at peace with it because it is cool to have the conversation about, is Patrick Mahomes like Michael Jordan? Because that's one hell of an honor to say that. Because Michael Jordan's one of the greatest athletes to ever live. But it took Michael almost a decade to win anything meaningful in his career. And that's a sport that's actually easier to win in than the NFL, let alone in the way that Patrick Mahomes is winning at this rate. So not to take nothing away from Michael, because he's not even catching strays from me on this. I want Michael to have nothing to do with this, to be honest. My case is this is saying we need to hold Patrick Mahomes in his own standard and his own set of accomplishments and his own prestige, because there is no one that has done it the way he's done it so quickly, where we can go through the whole Rolodex of the fact that no one has ever started their career out as day one the best player in their sport, who has never not played in a title championship game, who has been to the Super Bowl 5 of the last 6 years. No one's done that before, guys. This is stuff that is unprecedented. It's so fitting, because I remember when Shaggy and I were first talking when they drafted Patrick Mahomes, Shaggy was saying multiple Super Bowls for this guy. I was saying the same thing. But what we said was this guy isn't rewriting Chiefs history. He's creating Chiefs history. He's making this what it is. When we look back one day and Patrick's long gone, which won't be for a very long time, but when it is finally there, we're going to look back and go, holy hell, we witnessed the greatest career in sports history. This man rewrote everything in the books and created Chiefs history to be what it is. There was a time before Lombardi where the Packers were the Packers, and now the Packers are known as Titletown and all the history of it, and the Steelers, same thing with the Steel Curtain, and they all have this history to look upon and praise and look through the halls and things of that nature. We're in that time now for the Chiefs, where our grandkids are looking back and saying they got to live that time. Holy heck, man, that must have been so much fun. And we wouldn't be able to put it into words, guys. And it's hard to do it now. And we're all wordsmiths here, but we're here now trying to do our best. And I'm telling you guys right now, it's been an absolute blast to relish and celebrate this together. So, boys, let's party, baby, because we're here again.
And you're talking about that and how he is the best quarterback that we might have ever seen. I mean, maybe the best athlete we've ever seen in sports. Gretzky's up there. They've gone through it on First Things First, going through who's the best. And Tom Brady probably still has that right now. But if this three-peat happens, I'm not with Shannon Sharp, who says, oh, if a four-peat happens, then he's better than Tom Brady. I think if this three-peat happens, I think you can put him above Tom Brady. No one's ever done it. It's historic. The greats in this game have tried. The great Steelers of the 70s, the great Niners of the 80s, the great Cowboys of the 90s, even Tom Brady and those great Patriots of the 2000s. Tried, failed. And Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are on the brink of doing that. And Clint, all we wanted when we drafted Patrick Mahomes was Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Like,
it's funny. It's funny.
We got to one NFC championship game, but although it would be AFC for us, Jay got to one NFC. We're good.
Yeah, it's funny. Shane mentioned changing the landscape. Lance mentioned changing the landscape and creating history for the Chiefs. All I wanted to do was play in one conference championship game, because to me that was a golden goose. That was a golden ticket. It was a unicorn that I did not think was possible here, because in 1994 we played the Bills on the road in Orchard Park and lost that game with Montana getting hurt, and the Chiefs went 24 years without winning a playoff game. And I thought, if this guy, the comparisons early said, if this is Jay Cutler, if that's what the Chiefs have, a strong arm and makes poor decisions, and maybe even a little Brett Favre gunslinger in him, and maybe we get an AFC championship game. That's all I want. I did not, in my wildest dreams, see this coming. Nobody could have, and no one did. And we're living in the golden era. I wish we knew when we were living in the good old days, when we were still living in them. And my friends, we are. Welcome everyone to the chat. We're going to try to get all your comments up today. We're going to let this as a free reign. If you want your comment up in the future,
guaranteed.
You want to guarantee it. You want us to read your question. You send us a super chat. We always appreciate it. And we will put up your comment. We'll try to answer your questions. Today is our last day living in the Wild West of comments flooding in here, like Patrick Mahomes overtaking the entire sports world. That's the last time we can allow it to happen. Super chats, or if you're on Facebook, send stars, comment. We will for sure get it up.
And to get those super chats up, it'll be on Starcade Media's YouTube. You'll go there, and it really helps support what we do here. We've been doing this for 3 years, freewheeling, and this takes a lot of work to get the graphics up, to get the guest every week. It just takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. We want to have something that to show these guys, Lance and Shane, who do so much for this. We want to be able to kind of spread the wealth, give you guys more, do more for this show, take it different places, do some live shows. We want to start getting into that, get some different venues, start doing some live shows, get some guests out to live shows, whether it be a Tim Grunhard, a Bill Moss, somebody like that, a Frank Bowl, out to one of these sports bars and really start connecting with the community, connecting with you more. And just, if you guys like what we've been doing here at Starcade Media throughout the years on this show here at Arrowhead Allies, you appreciate us, you appreciate Shane and Lance for all that they do, all the work that they put in behind the scenes as well. Their thoughts and ideas with topics and guests who we should get. Shane, we've got Pat Mahomes Sr. today. Shane's really good friends with him. He helps get Pat Mahomes on the show. So we do a lot here. We want to be able to do more, and we just appreciate if you guys support the show any way you can. So the super chats will be on YouTube on Starcade Media. So we appreciate anything you can kind of donate to the show.
I tell you this, John Harrison seems like a star. He seems like a super chat guy. And
Hey,
you're right.
Yeah, he is.
No one,
Yes.
John, dominated their sport like Wayne Gretzky. If I knew more about hockey, I'd probably agree. I'm just, we'll just go with you on that. Yes, I know who that is. So I know like 5 hockey players' names ever. So that's one of them. So John, you're in here every week. We love you. You just seem off the cuff, like a super chat kind of a guy.
Clint, I will tell you, I will vouch for John. He is a regular member of the Spoken podcast, so much so he's like an honorary guest every single week. This dude, he started as a guy that just would correct me on statistics, which doesn't happen very often. I like to consider myself a statistician. This man knows stats better than I could ever dream of. So shout out to John Harrison for always being here, always being plugged in all Starcade Media shows. He is a dedicated dude. So shout out to John for being here with us, man.
My
Yeah,
brother,
great dude.
my brother Rob knows John Harrison, and my brother Rob's
Nice.
not even on social media. But my brother Rob said, "Is that John Harrison, the same John Harrison that I jammed with back at Lake Tapawingo?" I was like, "Man, I don't have a clue," but I know that John Harrison knows the stuff. He said, "Yeah, John Harrison used to let me and Vince come over there and jam on his equipment, and he's a really super nice guy." So I said, "Well, John Harrison." I told my brother Rob, John Harrison knows his football, and he's on it. So
Yeah.
So my brother Rob knows John Harrison personally, even though he's not on social media, and we know John Harrison statistically because he knows his stats.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Aldi brother-in-law
Here.
here, Vincent DiCarlo. What's going on? DiCarlo's red salsa in the house. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. No one makes the Chiefs more likable. I didn't think that was possible. That anything makes the Chiefs more likable. Rick Scott, love you guys. Great job. Appreciate that. And we had Steve Harold in here earlier. I want to say thanks to him. Thanks for doing these shows. I love the guests you guys bring on the show. We do our best for everybody. Everyone here helps out. So it's not just Clint and I. Like I said, Shane, Lance, whether it's behind the scenes topics, guests, we all kind of do what we can to bring the show to the masses and bring the best we got. Let's get into some of the plays here from this game, because Mahomes used his legs. That was a key in this game, whether it be fourth down, the 2 touchdown runs that he had. They didn't really have an answer for the bootleg. They weren't expecting it. People are like, man, Mahomes doesn't do the QB sneak because he had that dislocated kneecap against the Broncos. They don't do a lot of designed runs, really hardly ever. And this game you saw it, and we're going to take a look at some here. This is the 4th down that the Chiefs have to get on their own 39 as well. And you see Mahomes roll out there, just like the play against the Niners in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They had that 4th down in overtime they had to get, and Mahomes rolled out. Here he is running over, trucking Damar Hamlin. Penalty. And then we've got another one. It's an RPO to Kareem Hunt, and Mahomes uses his legs, reads it perfectly. Mahomes was great at reading the RPO in this game, unlike the Bengals AFC Championship game when we lost. He would pull it every single time and try to throw to Demarcus Robinson. But anyway, I digress. We also have the QB sneaks by Josh Allen that were stopped, the 2-point conversion here, which was beautiful, and Josh
because it was so predictable what they were
Damn
doing.
refs. Those damn refs.
Well, that
And then
too.
here, the 4th down in inches, which is highly debatable. And a lot of people want to go out and say that he just got it. No question about it.
Well, let's
It's a
look at it from
popular
this
thing to
angle.
say.
No, he's short.
I've got some photos here. A guy said he was doing science and like erasing Chris Jones. Out from the top left, he erased Chris Jones was in the way. You could see through him. And then he like dragged the pylon all the way down. He's like, oh, the tip of the ball is past it, I think, there. And if you look at Josh Allen's body here, and if I take the line and move it up his body here in the back, it looks like he's across. If I make him yellow, maybe that'll make it a first down. Like, You
And,
really
and
put a lot of work into this.
isn't it so funny how this play in particular is the causation supposedly to the Chiefs advancing, even though it's a non-scoring play and it's in the middle of the game when nothing was decided on this portion, because the Chiefs still had to score on their next drive, as you just alluded to in the way Patrick Mahomes was playing. The Bills defense had multiple opportunities to stop the Chiefs. The Bills were given extra advances, extra opportunities, because as I recall, there were 5 fumbles in this game, 1 by the Chiefs and 4 by the Bills, and all were recovered by the Bills. How lucky can one team get?
Almost impossible. So
Yes.
The Chiefs were 0 for 6 in turnover opportunities, 2 picks on the first drive, and then they put the ball on the ground 4 times.
And so I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this, and of course, I think all 4 of us were prepared for no matter what was going to happen. If the Chiefs won, there was going to be a narrative, and we're hearing Adam Shine, we're hearing all these other doofuses on the national level claiming that the refs were horrible in this game. But yet, you know what? They might not be wrong. But what I find funny is they're only talking about the refs being bad for the Chiefs side of things. When I don't know, I'm sure you have some stuff, Noah, about the face mask they didn't show. Either it was on Hollywood Brown or Kareem Hunt that they didn't get on the Chiefs, or the fact that the Chiefs ran a play after the Xavier Worthy catch or no catch, and they still let Sean McDermott get the challenge when the play had already been run.
That was my question. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So if those things happened on the other side, and the Chiefs got a challenge after the Bills ran a play. You want to talk about I mean, these people their heads would be blowing up on national television right now, guys. We'd have mass murders on national television right now because they wouldn't be able to handle that. So imagine if that was on the other side. But we live with it when it's against the Chiefs. No one's talking about that. They're talking about this play that shows that Josh Allen was legitimately short. That's the only evidence they had. And people forget that it was initially ruled short. So they have to have irrefutable evidence that he crossed the line to gain. And he didn't. So what are we bitching about other than the Chiefs advanced again and people are sick of it?
And don't make it close. Josh Allen, they're used to, and on the tush push, for sure, the Eagles are used to getting it by 3 or 4 yards. They're used to that with Josh Allen. And then when it's close, like, come on, you got to give it to us. Like, you got to execute better. I'm sorry. Don't leave it in the refs' hands. Don't make it close. I learned that in like 2005.
Yeah.
Now the refs ended up overturning it, but I think it was Mike Anderson for the Broncos was stuffed in the backfield by 1,000,000 yards by Eric Hicks. Shout out to Eric Hicks, 1 point in the NFL.
98.
And the refs automatically gave him a first down. I about jumped off the top of Arrowhead Stadium, but then they reversed it, so they saved my life that night. And I get
I want to get Lance. I want to get to your point because I was at the game. That was huge because I did not see. You usually see some sort of action from the Bills coaching staff that they were going to challenge a play. They ran that play to Xavier Worthy, and he was stopped short. So then they said, "Well, we're gonna." They said they want to challenge the previous play. That shouldn't have happened because Xavier Worthy could have ran in for a touchdown. And if they would have said, to your point, Lance, hey, we want to replay the last play, there was no interaction. There was no visual of that even taking place from Arrowhead Stadium. And that's huge. That's freaking huge.
Well, and the funniest part about it is, guys, is that not only was a play ran, there was a penalty on the play that Xavier Worthy caught the ball. So even with that, it was a first down for the Chiefs. So Sean McDermott challenging the play made no sense from its origin because the Chiefs were going to have a first down anyway. So the Chiefs run a play. It's second down now. Sean McDermott challenges it, somehow gets it. He loses it, of course, because it was a horrible challenge. And then what happens? The Chiefs get a fresh set of downs. So Sean McDermott only helped the Chiefs. It was the dumbest challenge you could have thought of. If there was no penalty, I get it, because you're only going to lose a timeout at worst. You only lose the challenge, you lose that, but you get a fresh set of downs on the other side.
Wow, and just in time, I'll tell you what, we're all ready for New Orleans. I don't know if New Orleans is ready for our next guest, Pat Mahomes Sr. in the house. Pat, how you doing? I don't know if New Orleans is ready for you, man. Are you ready for New Orleans, though?
Well, I'm not looking forward to going to New Orleans, but yeah,
it'll
be good.
You know,
how you doing, Pat?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. It's great to have you here today joining us on Arrowhead Allies. I was at the game. It was a great AFC Championship victory. It was a typical Chiefs-Bills classic matchup that went down to the wire. It was a phenomenal game. And let's get right to it, Pat. We got a series of questions for you as usual. Again, sincerely appreciate your time joining us on Arrowhead Allies. We do not take it for granted. I love you, Pat. Here we go. Pat, This is Patrick Mahomes' fourth left tackle of the season. It hasn't been an easy process, even though the Chiefs were the number one seed and now are on their way to the Super Bowl. What I saw in Patrick Mahomes on Sunday in person impressed me more than ever. Now I know people might be saying we've seen a bunch of Patrick Mahomes greatness, and we will continue to see that. What I saw from Patrick Mahomes on Sunday, his comfortability with him being comfortable in the pocket with Joe Thuney as his left tackle. It showed on the 2-point conversion where Patrick stood in the pocket. He stood in the pocket and he waited for Justin Watson to run along the back of that end zone while that pocket around him was crumbling. He did not get happy feet. He did not try to create magic out of the pocket. He stood there and he slung it into Justin Watson for that 2-point conversion. He went through his progressions. Pat, as a fan, I want Joe Thuney to stay at left tackle for the Super Bowl, and I think we will. But when you see Patrick become a pocket passing quarterback to go with all his many talents, how impressed were you with the way he stayed in the pocket on Sunday?
Well, I think the game that he had Sunday was probably one of the best he's had all year. We've been talking a lot about that. I've been trying to tell him that, that he has a little bit more time than what he was used to the first few weeks. Thuney has done a great job, and for him to trust it a little bit more because his footwork was kind of all over the place there for a while, and I've been really stressing with him to get back to having soft feet and trusting him a little bit more, and so he can deliver better throws. And seems like the more that he plays with him there, the more comfortable that he's getting, and we're starting to see what is coming to what is working and how it's making him a better quarterback.
Excellent.
Oh, Pat, our guy Silky P in the news a little bit this week. Pat, this is it. The Buffalo fans in Buffalo this year, they hang a Kermit the Frog puppet from high above the town over a street light, and you hear all the noise all since then that Buffalo is going to take this team down, that this run is over. Buffalo, Josh Allen, it's their time. And so for you, obviously, when the Chiefs win this game 4-0 against Josh Allen in the playoffs, and you make that comment, you say, hey, today's not a great day to be for Buffalo. There's got to be some emotion that comes out about winning a game like this, just as there was back when, years ago when the Cincinnati Bengals were the team that were going to take us down. You had some emotion about this, didn't you?
Well, I just thought that they crossed the line a little bit with the, hanging the frog. If you know anything about the history of hangings, it's kind of a little sore spot last year when we went there for the what was that, the division game? I think it was last. There was some very inappropriate things that they did to me and Patrick's mother, where they had some pictures that nobody should have to see some of the stuff that they did. So, I'm all for the fans having fun and rooting against the other team, but there is a line that shouldn't be crossed, and I felt like they crossed it. And the reason why I said that, that was before the game, but I talked to Patrick, like I do every week, and I just knew how comfortable he felt about the game plan that they had. So I was just, when you make him mad, he gets back, and that's one thing that I knew that he was going to do. He was going to get them back, and I just knew he was going to go out there and deliver. And I'm glad the team was ready to play. I think it fired them up. It definitely fired him up with some of the stuff that they had done. And sometimes you just got to let them know, that your team is the king, and you can beat us in the regular season, but when it comes down to postseason time, when it matters the most, this is where you got to come through, and this is what you got to deal with.
Well, Pat, you know what they say, no one circles the L's like the Buffalo Bills. So I think they're circling plenty of L's right now, and I think you handed one before the game even started to them. So I appreciate you giving them the precursor of what your son later gave them. So it just must run in the family, just giving the Bills L's, and you can't spell Bills without L's, so it's perfect. Pat, it's great to have you on, man. I love you to death, man. I always love when we get to talk. I wish we could sit here and talk baseball because you and I are baseball guys. We gotta stick to football here because it's the relevancy of everything that's going on. As again, ho hum, your son's leading the Chiefs back to the Super Bowl again. It's something we're getting used to. But I'm sitting over here smoking on a Bills pack. I know pretty soon you and I are gonna be smoking on that Eagles pack. And I want to talk to you real quick about what you're seeing from your son from a mentality standpoint. You're a former athlete. Big games are coming up. You got to get yourself right. And your son's always been able to do that from day one. He's always been able to just mentally hone in. Maybe sometimes better than others, but it seems that it's only getting stronger. We've heard Andy Reid this week talk about how Andy has a Super Bowl preparation that he always goes with. Patrick's got to have his own. Are you seeing a growth and evolution in your son and the way he gets prepared for this type of game, or is it just more of the same? He doesn't overthink it. He doesn't overcalculate it. He just kind of sticks to his routine.
Well, I think that he does stick to his routine, and I also think it's maturity. The longer you do stuff, the better you get at diagnosing and reading stuff and knowing, where you're supposed to get the ball and what you're supposed to do. Patrick, he's a student of the game. He studies real hard. So, once they, come at him and he's seen them a few times, he never forgets and he just recognizes what he got to do. When the lights come on, his eyes don't get bigger. It's still the same game. And he knows what his job is to do is to go out there and lead grown men, go out there and lead his team. And whatever that takes, he tries to do. So he's definitely, getting better and better. I don't think the stage is ever too big when you got to think, he was 5 years old, when I was playing in World Series. So he's seen all that. So, now it's just his time. And as our motto says, players make plays. So his job is to go out there and make a play when it has to be, whether that's 1, 2, or 3 plays. He just has to make more plays than the other team. And that's something that he's seen to take to heart and he's been able to deliver upon.
Just speaking more to that mentality that Lance was talking about, the killer mentality will not be denied. We have this from Michael Silver, who said that Matt Nagy texted his wife the night before when he saw the look in your son's eyes. Pat's slowly turning into a superhero creature tonight at the hotel as we speak. It's the coolest thing ever. Not many people understand. He creates an edge and becomes a different person as he gets locked in. It's fascinating. He has that look in his eye tonight that normal people don't have. Where does that come from, Pat?
Well, he's lost playoff games. He's lost the Super Bowl, and I know, firsthand that he didn't like the way that made him feel. So I just feel like that he doesn't want to feel, that again. So he's going to do whatever he can to make sure that he doesn't have to feel it again. Like he said in his press conference, you don't take these for granted. You only get so many chances. And when you get the chances to deliver like that on the big stage and also the biggest stage in the Super Bowl, then you're going to take it up, just a little bit more and make sure you leave everything that you have out there on the field. And if you lose that way, then at least you can go home and be comfortable. It's still going to sting, but at least you did everything that you could possibly do to try to win that game.
Pat, I was at the AFC Championship game on Sunday, and what I told myself walking into the stadium was embrace this moment. There's never a better time than right now. And this, like I said in previous shows, as well as my post-game show with Harvey Williams, this is an unprecedented. When we talk about Patrick Mahomes, we say things like unprecedented. It's unnatural. It's not common. It doesn't happen. So when I walked into the stadium, I wanted to just embrace it and feel that moment because we don't know when it's going to end, because you just never take life for granted and nobody ever should. But I know you've said before, and we don't expect Patrick Mahomes, your son, to play until he's 44 like Tom Brady or 42. You said you've said before that you think he wants to get his son established to the locker room the same way you established your son to the locker room. If you had to hypothetically guess, I know you're not going to give us an answer because I'm sure Patrick hasn't told you how many more years he's going to play. If you had a ballpark number to think about, he's going to be 30 in September. Pat, how many more realistic years do you think he plays? 4 or 5?
Well, I think he's going to keep on playing the game until, he feels like that he's accomplished everything that he wants to accomplish. What that number is, or how many wins, or how many Super Bowls, or how many whatever, only he knows that number. I know he's having fun. He's having a hell of a time. He just had another child, so I mean, I'm sure that he would love for her to be able to see, him perform, like he was able to see me perform. So I don't know what that number is. I really don't. I wish I could give you a better answer. I wish I could give you a ballpark answer. All I know is that he loves the game, and as long as he loves the game, he's going to keep on playing it.
Amen.
Only speaking for myself, I'm 40 and I retired a long time ago, guys. So this game, Pat, first off, before I ask, this family picture from the game, man, freaking amazing. Love to see it. Love to see you guys after a game and a big win like that in a big moment. Everybody getting together. That's just amazing. Great to see it, man. I love that. All the passion, all you guys out there is great. And my question is, as we look around the national media this week, Pat, it seems like we're running out of comparisons. We're running out of hyperbole. Someone might say, well, the only thing we can compare this to is Michael Jordan in the 90s. Well, someone else like, nah, this is more like Kobe and the Lakers in the early 2000s. And then, no, this is like Tiger Woods in the late 90s, early 2000s. When you see that, those comparisons get made around the country from all the national pundits and all over social media. Just what kind of pride does that give you? And do you ever just feel a little bit of, this is surreal to see that my son, someone I brought into this world, is being compared to these kind of players?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is surreal. The comparisons are nice, and and I would like to say those are people that, he looked up to and he watched growing up, and I'm pretty sure he wanted to be like them. He wanted to be able to say that, he was one of the best to play the game. So right now, like I always say, he's on a good track, and for me, I was proud of him before he started playing football. I've always been proud of him, the way he's carried himself, ever since he was a young kid all the way up through, and the way he treats people and the way he seems to do the things that's right. As far as my expectations for him and what he does, I just know that every time he goes out there, he's going to pour it all out there on the field. And as a father, that's all I can ask, from him, just to go out there and play the game like it's supposed to be played. And then once you're done, you can sit back and people will tell you how good you were.
Pat, every time I get a chance to talk to you, and I always like to ask a question in regards to you. And obviously, your son is the one that we all talk about, and that's understandable. He's the best football player in the world. But I want to ask a question about you because, when I first met you back in 2018 out there, and it was one of the lots out there outside of Arrowhead, you and your family were so welcoming to me. You guys were so caring and just awesome. And it was great to meet your folks. And, that was a moment I'm never going to forget. But, we're years down the road now, and it's flying by. I don't know if it's been the same for you, but I'm trying to savor every second of this because it feels like it's just flying by. Your son's already almost 30 years old. And it feels like just yesterday he was taking his first snaps with the team, and I've savored as much of this as I can. For you, on your end of this, not just watching your son and seeing him accomplish so many great things, watching the city and the fan base kind of transcend to where they're expecting this type of greatness and they're expecting to be where we're at now, where we're talking about your son leading us to another Super Bowl. What has your experience been like over these last several years with fans? Is there like certain anecdotes you could pull back from where, you experienced some of these fan bases that may have been very similar or very different from your time when it was you that was doing things as an athlete as opposed to your child? Like, kind of just, if you could kind of get into that a little bit, because this is something I've always been interested in when it comes to your experiences as a pro athlete and watching your son accomplish great things.
Well, the city of Kansas City has been awesome to me. They're always very welcoming, very complimentary. I mean, it's been, unreal, really. I've always liked coming to Kansas City, even when I played against them, and being around the people here. They're really sports fans that really know the game and really care about the game. And I don't think Patrick or me would have it any other way than to expect, great things to happen because he's the leader of a franchise, and for your leader to go out there and lead the right way and do the right things, I think that's all a fan base can ask. Um, the bonus is that we're being able to get all these Super Bowls and hopefully maybe get some more, but just to go out there and perform it, those are the people that are paying, to come watch him play. And one thing I told him, early on is that, you're an entertainer. So it's up for you to go out there and entertain them. And nobody wants to come out and sit in 10, 12-degree weather and see you lose. So, make them keep coming, and they will help you win more games because, the crowd noise and the way they support. So, it's all combined together, man. It all works together. They're as much as part of the team as everybody else. They need their help. Hopefully Patrick can deliver a product and the team can deliver a product that they like. And so far it's been great.
Yeah, and Pat, I mean, 5 Super Bowls out of 6 years. That's history, never been done before. And we're going for history again in a three-peat. You think everyone would be bowing down with respect, appreciating greatness, but you hear the refs narrative out there. And I know these guys are intrinsically motivated, so they don't need the outside stuff. But how much do they listen to that, and does it motivate them to go out and prove people wrong and beat that ref narrative and any other narrative that people have that are just Chiefs fatigue? You hear that out there as well.
Well, I'm sure that they hear it, and it's a good thing, let them say what they want to. What I always say is, give the baby something to do. If you're gonna do all the crying, what the baby gonna do? So, you just go out there and you keep kicking ass and keep doing your job, and let them hate. But at the end, you get to hold up the ring, you get to have the parade, you get to light the victory cigars, and until somebody takes that away from you, enjoy it because you never know when it's going to happen again.
Hey, Pat. In 1994, you and I were both 24 years old, and I need you to follow me here on this, okay?
Okay.
In the summer of 1994, when we were both 24 years old, Michael Jordan shocked the world and said he wanted to play baseball. Now, follow me. This is all hypothetical. I'm about to ask you. Patrick Mahomes wins MVP of the Super Bowl.
I know where you're going.
Listen, just follow me a second, please. 3 weeks after the three-peat, he calls you and says, "Dad, in 48 hours, I want to let you know I'm going to report to the Kansas City Royals and join the minor leagues and try to be a second baseman. I will say this first, though, Dad. The Kansas City Chiefs will be my number one priority. I will do everything the Kansas City Chiefs have asked me to do. But Dad, I love baseball. I was born a baseball player, and I want to at least try to see if I can play baseball at second base. Me and Bobby Witt Jr. could be a tandem that would be unstoppable. And I feel like I've accomplished everything in the NFL to where baseball can be my hobby." Now, Clint, Noah, and Lance here, Pat, they don't remember that. They're a lot younger than you and I. They don't remember when Michael Jordan went to play baseball. They didn't see Bo Jackson on the diamond in left field. And they didn't see Bo Jackson on the football field, okay? So hypothetically, Pat.
Definitely did, but yeah.
Listen.
We were youngsters.
We're following, Shane. We're enjoying every second of this. Believe me.
Pat, if you get that phone call from Patrick, this is all hypothetical, 48 hours after he wins the Super Bowl in 2 weeks and says, "I want to give this baseball a shot as a hobby," what would be your response to him?
Well, first of all, I would start crying because, I would love to see something like that. Second of all, I don't know about the position, but I know that he would definitely be able to go play. I don't think he would probably have lost too much. I would just tell him, hey, those seasons kind of overlap because you're not going to be in the minor leagues long. You're going to be in the big leagues real quick. So I would be shocked, but I mean, yeah, after I finish crying the tears of happiness, I would say, hey, let's go.
Pat, we're going to hit you before we let you go with our quick hitting questions. We got 4 quick ones for you. And we got a question from the chat that I'm going to throw to you right now. Pretty simple. How do you like barbecue in KC, Pat?
I like barbecue in KC. It's a little different taste in Texas. I still prefer Texas barbecue, but KC is a close second.
There you
There you
go.
That's fair.
Pat, favorite sports movie? I don't think we've asked you that before.
Favorite sports movie? Wow. My favorite sports movie would probably be Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
Can't go wrong.
I'll go real quick. Pat, this is something you and I have had our own personal debates on outside of shows, and I want to bring it back up. Since we're both smoking together, we're sparking these up. Have you finally joined my side and conceded the fact that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Greatest
Sure.
basketball player of your time?
Oh, come on, Pat. Come on, Pat.
The greatest basketball player of all time and will always be Michael Jordan.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Michael Jeffrey
I'm
Jordan.
not giving up on you, Pat. I'm not giving up on you.
And I will,
One day.
and I will also say I played against Michael Jeffrey Jordan and I took him to the hole, baby.
Yeah, there we go. I like that.
So maybe Pat's the best basketball player of all time.
That's all right. Well, you're wearing the crown.
Well, all I would say, I'm the best you'll ever see for free.
Hey, Pat, how's Trisha, man? How's the family, man? How's everybody doing? That's my last question.
Well, Trisha's doing great. Very excited as usual. I think she's a little worn out. We've been getting it pretty good here. So she's looking forward to going to the Super Bowl and hopefully, having another parade and another Super Bowl party, and everything else is going good.
Excellent, excellent. Love you, Pat. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the three-peat. We're going to be cheering here from Kansas City, buddy. I sincerely appreciate you, man. Thanks again.
All right. Once again, thanks y'all for having me. Anytime, baby. I'm always
Love you,
ready.
Pat.
Always an
Love you,
honor
Pat.
to be down there in New Orleans on Radio Row. We'd love to see you, Pat.
I don't know if they'll let me on there. I've been getting all these death threats now, since I made my little Buffalo comment. So
I've been working out a little, Pat. I can be a bodyguard for
We
you.
know security's a little tight in New Orleans as it is. So
Well, they told me I got 2 weeks left, so I'm just gonna try to make the best of it.
absolutely.
There we go.
Thanks a lot, Pat.
Take
Appreciate it.
All
care.
right,
We'll talk soon.
We hope Pat has many more years left, and we got his back. You gonna get to him. You got to go through me.
Yeah.
Or like you guys, maybe, and then I'll be like last.
Yeah. No on creatine now. Don't mess with us.
Man, guys, this is some of the best chats we've had, and I think that it's a good time to bring up. You had Pat Mahomes Sr. in there. We got to ask one of your guys' questions to Pat in the future, starting with our next show. If you want to do that, you can send us a super chat or send us a star on Facebook, and that's how you're going to get your comments for sure up there. We'll put them up. We'll ask your questions to the guests. That's how it's going to be done from here on out. Today, we just is the Wild West, baby.
It is the Wild West.
Yeah.
We got this might be some of the most chats we've ever had, and thank you to everybody in here. It's great. It's a community. We're all having a party here. Pat Mahomes Sr. joining us for said party. So you can't find this anywhere. Good luck is all I have to say.
Absolutely. You can't find it anywhere. And like Clint said, I just want to reiterate that whatever guests we have on moving forward, if you want your question in, I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll stop the show. I'll stop Shane in the middle of his question.
Yeah.
I'll stop myself in the middle of my question. I'll be like, we've got a super chat in here. Pat Mahomes, forget that question. We got money on the line. We got to donate.
Yeah.
We got someone supporting the show. They got a question
Cha-ching.
in here. So, yeah, absolutely. Make sure that you guys are doing the super chats moving forward on Starcade Media YouTube page. And like Clint said, you can give stars on Facebook chat as well on Starcade Media. So, but moving here, if the Chiefs do win this three-peat, I want you all to watch out. Ric Flair is going to deliver my message like he did for Clint last week. I said, come in here and deliver this message for me this week. I'm stealing you away from Clint. So if we get this three-peat, this is how I'm going to be acting.
I promise you this, above all else, I'm going to be more obnoxious, more overbearing, and I'm going to make you all learn to love it because you'll have no choice.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
No, you got to dress like Ric Flair after the Super Bowl. If that happens, dude, you have to dress like Ric Flair.
Oh, I
Noah's
will. I'll
got
be
the
styling
moves.
and profiling.
He's got the moves, without a doubt.
That's where we're at, though. That's where we're at in this dynasty era of Kansas City Chiefs football. Is we're you're like the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. And you know what? I'm not even a short dresser, but even me, I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down.
I'm having a really hard time holding these Lombardis down. These things weigh a lot. I know a lot of you out there, if you're a fan of another team, you may not know what this feels like. These are heavy, man.
And they're
If you're
stacking
the
up too.
Bills, if you're the Chargers, if you're the Falcons, if you're the Lions, on down the line. You have never touched it. You've never touched it like Noah just touched it right there.
Touch it. Just touch it. Give it a
I will not
touch.
touch it.
You can't see all the ways that I touch this trophy. We can't
Whoa.
put that on air here. So
Whoa!
Starcade After Dark.
that's a super chat as well if you want to see all the ways I touch this.
Going off the
And now it
rails.
touches you. And now it touches Noah.
It do feel nice. It do feel nice. But we got to go back to this. I skipped this. I just read the right-hand portion of this graphic to Pat Mahomes. I didn't want to acknowledge this with him in the here, so hopefully he didn't read it. But Andre Redirection, former Buffalo Bills Hall of Fame wide receiver Andre Reed, went into just hysteria. He lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. The Bills have lost now 4 playoff games in a row to Patrick Mahomes. When you go into Kansas City, you got to beat a lot of people. You got to beat the team. You got to beat the fans. You got to beat the refs. You got to beat Taylor Swift. And now we know why they couldn't win a Super Bowl and why they can't beat Patrick Mahomes with thinking like that.
Man, I'm go ahead, Clint. I'm sorry.
No, it's just an aside. Yeah, Taylor Swift is, you got it. She's on the field. She's playing nose guard next week.
Yeah. Yeah, she fills in for Chris Jones when he needs a breather. You know, we all know this goes. She has the tape and everything over her nose like Neil Smith back in the day. No, it just I addressed this directly on Twitter as well when I saw this earlier today. This is now beyond like where we just scoff at it. This is now getting to be a point of no return. Like this is going to start ruining reputations. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I have never seen a more embarrassing movement amongst former or current players, national media pundits. I mean, there have been bad takes and things of that nature in times. This is now spreading. It's like wildfire, guys. And I say this in a very careful way. It's like what's happened in California. It's literally spreading all over the place with no chance of slowing down. Because now it's almost like an accepted thing where people are just going to say the stupidest things like this. And I tweeted that out. I said, in regards to Taylor Swift, I mean, I don't try to talk about her enough because, she's already a superstar. We don't need to address her. But it's almost as if people pretend that this dynasty happened the moment she hopped on board. Whereas the Chiefs had already won multiple Super Bowls before her and Travis were even dating. And it just... this whole adding her into this and her catching strays, it feels like just such easy, low-hanging fruit that it should be below these people that have platforms, a prestigious platform, like Andre Reed. Like I know they lost 4 Super Bowls. This dude was a killer on the field. Remember the famous game where they were down like 35-3 at half? He was a large reason why they came back. Yes. He was a large reason why they came back in that game. That's how this man should be remembered, not being a clown dick on some show saying some stupid moronic crap like this, because that's what he sounds like, some fan that has 17 letters in his Twitter handle right now. That's what he sounds like. He sounds like the typical dipshit that's on Twitter that's in my mentions every day. Like that's where he should be existing. But no, this is a high caliber, high profile former NFL athlete that's saying the stupidest crap like this. And I want everybody that's watching the show right now to go back and listen to him say it. Because if you think it's bad reading it, you should hear him say it. He sounds like the babies that Pat Sr. was just talking about. If the babies ain't crying, who's going to be doing the crying? That's what he's talking about, is former guys that played this game. You would think they would have a little bit more reverence and respect for the players that are playing today, because all I hear about is this generation just don't get it. These kids today, they ain't got no respect. This man's in his late 50s. This man is a guy that should be saying that about the young people, but instead, he's acting like the people he's talking about. Projection much? It's absurdity, guys, what we're dealing with from the national landscape, from the former and current player to the national media pundit. The disrespect and vitriol that everybody attached to the Chiefs is inheriting simply because this team is winning. It isn't because they're winning because of cheating scandals. It isn't winning because of rigged games. They just keep winning, and it's pissing people off to a point where they are literally losing everything. They are becoming undignified fools. And I'm sick of it, man. It's a freaking clown show.
Our guy Tim Grunhard fired back at some of the ESPN types, and not necessarily Andre Reed himself, but to Dan Orlovsky. All you haters that on shit ESPN can kiss my ass. Stick that in your pipes and smoke it, jackass. At Dan Orlovsky, who's going to be covering the Chiefs for another 2 weeks, and that goes for a lot of the media pundits. And I'd say that you could probably throw in every other media person, the Colin Cowherds, they all picked the Buffalo Bills. We saw it all week long. Bills, dynasty over. And our guy, Tim Grunhard, an alumnus of this show.
Yeah, from the top row.
My favorite part of that graphic is you like blurred out like shitty, but kept ass and jackass in there.
Hey, YouTube's got rules, buddy. Go to Facebook, man. They got rules.
Clint's the only one that abides by those rules, by the way.
Oh, man.
Keeps me monetized, motherfucker.
I'm to the point where I can't even take it seriously. I think Lance speaks for all of us, and I thank you, Lance, for spewing that out, because I echo the sentiments, but I can't. There's so much of it. There's so much of the hate being thrown at Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs that I'm to the point now where I can't really take it seriously. It's just like, really? You really hate the Chiefs this much? Okay, well, we'll take these rings. So, I think they're saying it more to create more of the following. They want to egg on Chiefs fans to call them back. They want followers. They want the heat just so they can grow their own following. So I don't take it seriously, because sometimes it's from people that I've never even heard of before.
We could take this seriously from Nate Burleson, who says, resist the urge to fall for the narrative that we're tired of seeing them win, that we might be fatigued of watching KC go to the Super Bowl. You are witnessing greatness, and just be happy that you are alive and to be there to see it. Nate Burleson, that's something that was an off the charts, a viral moment for him after the Chiefs advanced to the Super Bowl to their 5th and 6th years. And I just got to give him credit for kind of going against the grain and making a comment like that.
Speak for your damn self there, Burleson, because the fact that 24 hours before he made that nice little cute quote, he was on his show talking about how he takes Josh Allen every day over Patrick Mahomes. So hold that L, baby. I'm glad he came around, but you got to hold that L first, baby, because you're the one that's out here creating that narrative as well about, I'd take Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes every single day. Really? Now you're talking about witnessing greatness. Okay, who's great? Let's break it down here. Let's go. Let's get to the micro of it all, baby. Like, you want to say these things, that's nice. Like I said, I've said on previous shows, Burleson, at least he dresses cute, because some of his takes are absolutely horrible, and that was one of them. And I'm glad he's finally coming full circle. Hopefully, he's not one of those people that says it every year, where it's like, I'm tired of doubting the Chiefs, and then August and September come around, and there we are doubting the Chiefs again. I mean, it's one thing, and to Shane's point, to pick the Bills, it's not like it's some like, oh my God, Al, you idiot. It's like a fun thing where, like, I always do like my talk soon tweets. Like, hey, talk soon, and I'll tag them in it. That's all fun, right? We're just having fun. But when, like, to bring it back to the Andre Reed stuff and what we're talking about, some of these people, I agree with you, Shane. Some of them are trying to get at us, and it is working. But I truly believe that some of these people are legitimately mad. I think they're legitimately upset about this to the point where it isn't that they're trying to get reactions. They're outwardly bitching. They're outwardly mad because their team keeps getting sunned by number 15. They're getting mad about it because we just had the greatest dynasty in NFL history, and before Tom Brady could even retire, Patrick Mahomes sets the world ablaze and starts doing it at an unprecedented level, and no one was ready for that. They were going to be ready for it in 10 to 15, 20 years from now. They didn't think the guy was going to come around that was going to take Tom Brady's spot immediately. Yeah. We didn't either. We just talked about, you guys wanted Jay Cutler. So we weren't expecting it. I agree with you guys. We are just get us to a conference championship. Just get us to a Super Bowl. And now we're living in the 5 of 6 era? Boys, it's pissing people off. So we are on the opposite ends of that spectrum. We're just relishing it and basking in it, and they're out there just crying, filling their diapers every 5 minutes.
Yeah, just to speak on like Nate Burleson, Dan Orlovsky saying they take Josh Allen, he's the best, and maybe some guys out there, I know Rex Ryan would take Josh Allen, some guys out there, maybe like Ryan Clark, no, I want Lamar Jackson. It's like, okay, if you just look at the stats, if you just look at like the wow plays that make the Sports Center top 10, then yeah. But you guys are like analysts. A lot of you like played this game, coached this game, and you can't see that Patrick Mahomes has ice water in his veins, unlike any of these other quarterbacks you talk about, and comes through in third downs and fourth downs and in the fourth quarter better and at a higher rate than anyone in the history of the National Football League. And yet you're out here just going ape shit over stats and big plays. And then you've got to come back and be humbled again in the playoffs when you're like, oh, well, he didn't make the Pro Bowl, didn't have the stats. But yeah, I guess that those clutch stats, I guess they came back to bite me. Like,
Oh, for them, guess what, Noah? They get to watch the Pro Bowl next week.
Yeah, Pro Bowl.
And Josh Allen are going to be going at it again, baby.
Man, that's going to be awesome.
Get them on the field. Let's go. The MVPs will be playing in the Pro Bowl again.
And it's technically a road game, so Josh Allen's definitely going to lose.
I think he opted out, if I heard correctly. I think he might have opted out.
Oh, poor him.
You guys wait till we go to New Orleans next week and you hear the vitriol and you hear what we had to go through 2 years ago. Eagles are the best team. This is the best roster. They didn't have this player on the defensive line last time. They didn't get any sacks last time. We're going to have to hear it for 2 straight weeks. It's going to be
how are they going to stop Saquon?
Eagles fly. My cousin lives in Vegas. He sees Big Vito down there every time the Eagles are in a damn Super Bowl, and they take it over, and they're loud and they're brash, and that's all you're going to hear for 2 straight weeks. While the Chiefs are going to sit back, diagnose every little thing about this Eagles team. There's a coaching advantage, just like they had over Sean McDermott. And in the end, this three-peat's going to be on the line. It could be a play here or there. You just can't go against the Chiefs in this three-peat. You can't do it, and you'd be a fool to do so. It's a fool's errand.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. And real quick, this whole other aspect that we got on the national media that people keep talking about, I heard you guys kind of allude to it earlier about, I kind of feel bad for Josh Allen. He's a good guy, hardworking quarterback and everything. Who gives a shit? Like, people lose every year. Why are we giving out sympathy cards to Josh Allen right now? The man took another L to his daddy. Like, I'm not sitting here feeling sorry for Josh Allen because all I heard all year was, Josh Allen, I think he's surpassed Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the MVP, and he's gonna go in there and whoop Patrick's ass, and he's gonna do his. And then he loses again. It's like, I feel so sorry for Josh Allen. He has wide receivers out there dressing like animal before the game. How could he ever overcome these things? And we're sitting here. Why do I need to feel sorry for him? I didn't hear people send sympathy cards to Patrick Mahomes when he get the ball in the overtime AFC Championship against Tom Brady. Did y'all hear that? No, they didn't change the rule either until Patrick Mahomes advanced on it, and then they want to change the rule because the Bills didn't get it. And I guarantee you, we're going to hear the NFL talk about, we should finally start talking about that archaic lining of the ball, guys. We should probably start using some technology now that the Chiefs have benefited off of it and the Bills lost because of it. I guarantee you, we're going to hear Roger Goodell and the NFLPA talking about that this year. I swear to you it's going to happen. You know it is.
What are they going to put a camera inside the football?
They're going to figure something out, dude, because they just can't keep letting the Chiefs win like this, guys, because as we know, it's the refs, and Taylor Swift's out there doing her voodoo on us, and it's just, it's working.
Yes, but it's not Josh Allen's fault that the media crowns him the best, and so he is a good dude. He's a great quarterback. I think he's the second best quarterback in the league.
Yes. Yes.
You have a ridiculous, just killer animal, just that he's undeniable, and it's going to be tough to go through him. It's going to be tough to go through this well-coached team with Andy Reid and Spags and Chris Jones and Travis Kelce and this offensive line. Just guys know how to get it done. They're coached well. You've got a great general manager providing the just restocking and resupplying the ammo on this roster, whether it's offense, defense, whether he needs to make a midseason trade, which, he did with DeAndre Hopkins, and we've seen it, and signing Kareem Hunt was huge. So, I just think there's a lot to like about Josh Allen's game. I think he gives it all out there, and I do feel bad for him because he gives it all out there. Buffalo, I kind of love that franchise as far as it's the most similar one to us as the lovable losers before we got Patrick Mahomes. Yes, we had Len Dawson back in the day, but they got to 4 straight Super Bowls. They're kind of like the Cubs, if you think about it, back in the day, the lovable losers. And Josh Allen is a good dude. I'd like to see him win a Super Bowl, but you're going to have to play longer than Patrick Mahomes, because as long as Patrick Mahomes is in the league, I can't let you have any. So I don't know what to do. I can't make heads or tails in it.
Good point, Noah. But I want to sincerely thank the Buffalo Bills for trading us Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes. So thank you.
Good teammates.
Yeah.
And let's just have a little fun before we get out of here. Last week, I did our Chiefs Dynasty movie cast. with
Love
Mahomes as
dude.
Mario Lopez, Travis Kelce. You can see it there. Chris Farley as Creed Humphrey, Nicolas Cage as Steve Spagnuolo, and here's the ones that people got mad about. And I
No,
couldn't agree with Malcolm Jamal Warner. I just,
No,
like I
you
said, I'm
don't.
old and couldn't think of anybody.
You
But I
did.
did a part 2, and so you can get angry about this. Our part 2.
Yeah.
Wood Harris, we just mentioned Remember the Titans. He played Julius in Remember the Titans. Wood Harris is Tershawn Wharton. And Jesse Tyler Ferguson, if you've seen Modern Family, he's Carson Wentz. Channing Tatum is George Karlaftis. Mario Van Peebles is Trent McDuffie. Maybe a little old, but hey, it works. And then Taylor Kitsch from Friday Night Lights.
Riggins, baby.
Man,
I
Mario
know.
Van Peebles, that's a good throwback.
What would Riggins do?
I see
that's a
Mario
good
Van
three.
Peebles, and I see
I see it.
Jesse Tyler Ferguson as Carson. I see that and Carson Steele. I don't know about Channing Tatum though. He's
Karlaftis has a unique look. It's tough.
yeah,
to
he's got a different look. He's got a lot of teeth.
I've always thought that Channing Tatum and Travis Kelce had a lot of similarities.
Mm.
Who?
Yeah.
Well, you
Travis
could go
Kelce,
either way.
yeah, two white boys
Whether
that
it's
can
Channing
dance, you
Tatum
know.
or Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hemsworth definitely works. I see it.
Yeah. Either or for him.
Those are good.
And then the last part of this, John Cena, everyone says Lewis Chanel. Zach Galifianakis is Joe Tooney. Woody Harrelson is Matt Nagy. People said I did DeAndre Hopkins dirty by making him Eddie Murphy.
Well,
I'm sure Ryan Reynolds is not pleased about being Harrison Bucker with his comments. I'm sure he vastly disagrees with those.
The
but
Eddie Murphy is killing me. It's E-Hop. That's amazing. It's E-Hop, dude. I love it.
DeAndre
I'm gonna wake up at like 2 a.m., dude, and I'm gonna be cracking up thinking about that E-Hop. That's amazing, dude. No, we don't deserve you, bud. We don't deserve.
It's actually Grok on Twitter there, or X, that you need to be bowing down to.
Well, Grok, congratulations, man. You guys are not. We're not worthy.
also, these two guys get to play in a Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs. Thoughts? real
Awesome.
quick?
That is so cool. I'm so happy for both.
Yes. Agreed.
So
Yeah,
happy
man.
for both.
There's nothing better. This is the redemption tour for Kareem. We all know, guys, the history of it all, and to have him come back and get a savor this. You watched him on the field, walking around, just absorbing it after the game. I mean, there's nothing better than that. And obviously, you guys know for the last 2 years, I've been pounding the table to get D-Hop here. And I know he hasn't been the biggest contributor on the stat board, but guys, you saw how much that Bills defense was respecting him and how he opened up so many things and opportunities for young guys like Xavier Worthy who are blossoming in this offense. I could not be happier for both these guys, man, to see. And this is going to continue to happen. You guys know that. Where throughout Patrick Mahomes' career, as he continues to contend, guys like this who are getting second chances or guys who've never had a chance to play for, on the big stage are going to attach themselves to 15 to get that opportunity. And I'm relishing this for these guys, man, because they're going to think about this time forever, because D-Hop's had a borderline Hall of Fame career and he can look back at all that, but what he's going to remember the most is this year in Kansas City. If this is his only year, he's going to remember this year in Kansas City more than anything, man.
But hey, you guys are going to be on Radio Row next week, and I know you're going to get a chance to talk to D-Hop. Are you going to run by the interview that you guys did with them? Are you going to say, hey, remember when we talked to you in Miami 2 years ago trying to bring you to Kansas City? Are you guys going to run that by him?
He's like one of those cerebral people that he remembers stuff. He's very intelligent. He's very and personable. It's going to be interesting to see.
Introspective, keeps
Very introspective. And he kind of opened up to us a little bit, like where it was out of nowhere, kind of just found us on the beach and was like, hey guys, thanks for asking me about Kansas City. I would have been mad if you didn't. That's what he said. And I'm like, what? You seem mad if you did ask. That's how he is. He's very
well, there's other media there. I had to act mad about you guys asking. I didn't make it about the fishing, but once I found you guys,
we'll be catching up with the definitely Kareem, the whole team. Super Bowl opening night. Look for some of our content hitting next Monday night, as we'll be in New Orleans at the Caesar Superdome, getting all those interviews. All that stuff will be coming up. Then they've got team hotels Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then all of our quick hitting fun stuff from Radio Row this year. I guess that's how we'll put it, Noah. Fun.
Lots of fun.
And we don't have a specific time on when we're going to do Arrowhead Allies next week. So, but just follow Starcade on all the social media platforms, and we'll let you know when we will do that show.
Yeah, no,
we're leaning towards Thursday right now. If we can make it happen, we'll lean towards Thursday, but that's just preliminary. Stay tuned to all Starcade Media socials, and we'll let you guys know when we can make it happen.
Been a fun show.
brother. Great
Chat's
show.
been awesome tonight, guys. You guys,
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
think the chat's ever popped off like this before. So this is the biggest one.
yeah,
Thank
you guys
you
are
very
awesome.
much.
You guys are all
More
awesome.
weeks upon us. Soak it in, and we'll get serious next week with some predictions, some content, some interviews. We're going to keep you guys here. Your money stays and plays with us. Thank you.
Going for the three-peat. Go Chiefs!